But the thing is, once they deploy in a public network, they can provide private network features to the end users. For example, the network slicing will be done in such a way where they can utilize the existing in-band resources of frequency, which is 4G, or standalone resources frequency outside 4G, but other frequencies. So using this in-band and standalone, they can deploy NB-IoT services. But the only thing that you should always think is that if NB-IoT is deployed by the operator, then you are not playing any major role on this one. You can only play a major role for developing an application and developing the end sensor that is equipped with NB-IoT module. But rather than this, for telecom operator NB-IoT platform, you cannot play major role. You cannot do development. But the only thing, if the telecom operators, they are collaborating with you, then you can develop NB-IoT platform for them. NB-IoT platform for them. And in future, if operator, they are going to provide any kind of IoT services or narrowband services, they can utilize their existing infrastructure to provide these services. But there is always advantages and disadvantages. For example, main advantage is, if you are choosing NB-IoT, then you don't need to build a network infrastructure on your own, because telecom operator and network infrastructure is already there. So you don't need to invest on building a telecom infrastructure. You only need to develop the end nodes and also the main application. But the platform will be implemented on operator. And the disadvantage is, these operator solutions cannot be very suitable for the government solutions, because government, they always want to have something on their own. It's like building a private network and where they can manage, monitor, control, and they don't want to have dependency on other operators. So this is the case in many countries. So all the government departments, they deploy their own LoRa network or 4G private network, so to provide different kinds of applications, solutions to their departments. But in India, if government, they don't want to deploy a completely private network for municipal services or city services, they can approach telecom operators and they can let operator deploy NB-IoT platform, and then whatever vertical applications or solutions that government they want to deploy, they can use this existing infrastructure. So this is for NB-IoT, narrowband IoT. And then microwave technology. So this is another kind of communication technology where this will be mostly suitable for long distance coverage. Long distance coverage is not like providing a 360 degrees coverage, but it is something like point-to-point coverage. For example, in cities, the network infrastructure is already deployed, but to provide a coverage in rural areas and to provide some smart application solutions in rural areas, you need to build a chain of network. So in this chain of network, you might be investing in millions. You might be investing in millions, and not only for the capital expenditure for investment, but also the operational expenditure for managing these chain of network will be higher. So every year you need to manage your infrastructure. Every year you need to manage your systems. Every year you need to see the performance, KPIs and all. So using microwave, you can let go of fiber infrastructure also. For example, if you want to lay a fiber cable for 60 kilometers, then you have to invest a lot. But however, here using microwave technology, you can provide point-to-point solution, reaching from city to any kind of important rural area. Or if government, they want to build a factory or factory hub, or they want to build a park hub, so they don't need to provide a fiber optics till this park or fiber optics till this factory hub. They can provide microwave solution as point-to-point peer, and then in that factory hub, there will be another microwave that will be receiving the bandwidth, and then from there, the distribution of the bandwidth can be done. So here we can see point-to-point and point-to-multipoint. So from point-to-point is to reach far away locations and to provide services. And from point to multi-point is the distribution network. This point to multi-point can also be based on microwave. So for example, the point to point can reach up to 60, 80, 100, 120 kilometers or 180 kilometers. It depends on the location type and also line of sight, and also depending on the atmospheric conditions and the type of frequency they are using. So there are many factors that plays a major role. So whenever you are trying to propose something, then you have to do line of sight study for this point to point, and then you have to see which frequencies will be suitable for reaching the endpoints. And then from point to multi-point, you can also reach up to certain, like less than 10 kilometers, you can reach to different point nodes, and then you can provide dedicated bandwidth, like the household will receive 10 Mbps, multiple households will receive 10 Mbps or 100 Mbps, the factory will receive 500 Mbps. So even this 1 Gbps can be distributed to multiple endpoints. And it can also be done in two ways. Point to multi-point can be either by same microwave, or it can be through fiber optics. For example, if it is a factory hub, if it is a factory hub where like hundreds of factories are there, then when you are constructing, when government is constructing these factories or factory hub infrastructure, they can deploy fiber cable, and all these fiber cable will be connected to the office buildings of those factories, and this microwave will be distributing these data through fiber to these office buildings. So this can also be done. So there are different scenarios, and other scenarios, because I have brought this one to IoT, we can say other scenarios is they can also connect these point to multi-point to other wireless devices or Wi-Fi devices or routers to connect to various sensors. So these sensors, they will collect data and they can transfer these data to the point-to-point microwave to the central backbone network, to the internet backbone. So anything can be done, but depending on different scenarios and different case requirements. So this is about microwave technology. Even microwave technology can be used in different kinds of scenarios. And then fixed wireless. So this is something like a fixed wireless solution. We have a fiber optics solution for internet, which is a wireline solution. But however, to provide the same quality of service, the same capacity, we have fixed wireless. So this is mostly suitable for different scenarios and different requirements. For example, if it is somewhere a hilly area, I don't want to install a fiber cable. So I can deploy a fixed wireless solution, same like microwave, but this one will be provided for shorter coverage, shorter range solution. And through this fixed wireless, they can reach higher capacities, and also they can distribute this fixed wireless to multiple homes and also multiple IoT requirements or smart community applications can be run through this fixed wireless. So you can see the difference between microwave and fixed wireless, and providing internet services and other services on these concepts. Then another scenario is critical communication. Whenever we are talking about IoTs or something, we are mostly focusing on the smart solutions for transportation, education, health, and smart street lighting, smart parking, smart waste management, and smart utilities, smart metering, smart water management, this kind of stuff. But also we need to consider public safety, because public safety plays a major role in India, and also every city or every state, they need to consider public safety as the highest priority. So when we are talking about communication technologies, we have maybe you know, or maybe you don't know about these technologies. So in public safety, it is called critical communication technologies, and under critical communication technologies, there are different sub-technologies, starting from TETRA, DMR, PDT, LTE, B-trunk. And the most often used technology in many cities is TETRA. Most of the policemen or the security departments, they use TETRA technology. And this even the police in Hyderabad, they use TETRA technologies for communication. And this TETRA technology will help the policemen to communicate with each other with push-to-talk radio devices. And these radio devices are into several categories. One is mobile radio, which they use in hand. Another is vehicle mounted radio, which is inside the vehicle. So even you can see in some movies that the policeman, he's using his walkie-talkie. It is not walkie-talkie, it is actually push-to-talk radio. And then in his police jeep, he has another radio. And also desktop radio. If in the police station, they have desktop radios to communicate with their own personnel. So Tetra is implemented in wide scale because the Tetra provides wider coverage, and also it provides low power consumption for the devices. And we can say, comparative with the telecommunication technology, Tetra is something like 2G. So like 2G in telecom, it provide wider coverage and it provide minimal application. So same scenario goes for the Tetra. And however, for DMR, we can say digital mobile radio. So in Tetra, we can only satisfy location tracking, voice-to-voice communication. But in DMR, they can also share images, something like 2.5G. DMR is something like 2.5G. But if we have to see the public safety future, then we have to consider LTE. So this is something like public safety LTE, PSLTE. So this LTE will provide wide bandwidth, but with limited coverage, we have to deploy more number of infrastructure sites. But we can integrate many security infrastructures on the same platform. For example, not only providing the voice-to-voice communication, but they can also integrate this existing CCTV infrastructure. Because to lay CCTV infrastructure for a whole city, it will need huge investment, and also maintenance for these infrastructures will be very expensive. But however, if they are going to deploy a public safety LTE, then they can integrate the CCTV infrastructure to these LTE networks, and then they can have integrated public safety solution through CCTV and also critical communication. So this is where they can do. And also the other advantage of going with LTE network is they can also share the resources with other agencies, for example, fire department. So in case there is some fire accident happen, so immediately some people, they will notify the police department, right? But also they will notify the fire department. And also we have to bring in health department, because with fire accidents, there will be health casualties. So in this case, how we are going to integrate these different departments together. So this is the most considerable thing that everyone need to consider. And then we have to see what kind of case scenarios we can build over LTE. For example, there is some fire accident happened. So immediately someone will contact these three departments at the same time. And then these three departments, they can establish their own dedicated team, and they can enable intercommunication channel between these three departments. For example, if policemen, they arrived into the location, so they can act as a medium to share the real-time information to the fire department. And also if fire department reached the location, then they can also share the information with healthcare departments and other departments. So all the information and resources can be shared mutually together to them. Because the thing is, like, if they are not going to share, and how people will know like what is the real case in that location. So whether they need more number of ambulances, or whether more firefighting vehicles need to be arrived, or more number of police or security personnel needs to be reached. And this is just one scenario. And another scenario can be accidents. Another scenario can be robberies. Another scenario can be some terrorist events or natural disaster. So there are different scenarios. So for every scenario, we can immediately create intercommunication between different departments. So they will work and take action immediately. So this is where the Safe City Management Central will form a unified security features with different solutions and applications. So here you have seen Tetra, DMR, and LTE. However, PDT and BTRENC are very old technologies, and they are very leastly used anywhere. And to see Tetra, DMR, so Tetra is already implemented in more than 80% of countries around the world. DMR is also implemented around 50 to 60% of countries, but LTE is only implemented in very least countries, very few countries. For example, one is China, where they deployed a completely private network in big cities to manage, monitor, control the whole city infrastructure and to provide interdepartment communication features. And then in Korea, in Japan, and also in some European, not many, but only few European countries, they deployed LTE because LTE needs a dedicated investment by the government, and also they need to manage all these infrastructure. So this is where if the if the state government, they feel they have to deploy something on their own to manage, monitor, and invest as a private network, it's up to them. But if they don't want to invest, then they have to collaborate together with telecom operators to provide certain services to the public or to their own interdepartment. So this is where critical communication is included in this presentation. Then the non-3GPP, there are several non-3GPP technologies like Sigfox is there, LoRa is there, Z-Wave is there. There are some other technologies, but I only included LoRa because the thing is, when we see LoRa is a private technology where it can satisfy requirements of private facilities. So for the public network and private network, for public network, you need to depend on telecom operators and you need to pay them as a subscription fees for every month if you are using any kind of application. But for LoRa, you can deploy it on your own, and then you can enable different kinds of applications on top of LoRa. And then you only need to manage is the investment of your LoRa infrastructure and managing of the equipment regularly, like maintenance, doing maintenance of these equipments regularly. So this is where LoRa plays a major role for private solutions. And under LoRa, you can implement many smart city applications like smart metering, smart waste management, smart street lighting, smart home solutions, smart environment management. In agriculture, you can have crop management, crop monitoring, soil moisture monitoring, cattle monitoring, your machinery monitoring, and also in factories you can monitor your logistics, you can monitor your goods, you can monitor your packaging, you can monitor many kind of applications. But however, if you have to go with a central unified platform, and then, for example, you want to deploy LoRa network in different kinds of rural areas, but you want to integrate them to one platform, then you can choose the telecom operator network as a mode to connect and transmit data. So here you can see one example architecture, where you have LoRa gateways, and these LoRa gateways are providing different LoRa vertical applications. But to unify it with one network, you can also backhaul with your LoRa gateway with telecom operator network. So all the data that is collected with your LoRa sensors and pushing towards your gateway can be stored in your central data center or central platform. So this will help you to enable features, and this will help you to monitor, manage, control your endpoints from wherever you are. So this is where LoRa plays a major role. And also, the LoRa advancement worldwide is happening in a very fast pace, because the investment required to deploy a LoRa network is not that much, whereas to deploy a completely private or public network using different technologies is very expensive. So LoRa is cost effective, and also the sensors that are working under LoRa have very long battery life. For example, like 10 to 20 years or 15 years is an average for battery life consumption. And also, you have to understand one thing. You have to see which kind of LoRa providers you are choosing, because it's not that every LoRa provider will have the same quality of providing the equipment, but you have to choose a brand that provides a LoRa solution for outdoor scenario with multiple applications, and also it can last for long run, because once LoRa is deployed, it can be used for several years. And the only thing you need to do is different application upgrade, different requirement upgrades you have to do on the device side and your application side. But however, if you have to see on the developments on device side and application side, but you should always consider the bandwidth requirement should be minimal, because LoRa concept itself doesn't support higher bandwidth, it only supports narrow bandwidth, very less bandwidth. So these are the advantages of choosing with LoRa technologies and applications. So this is the presentation that I prepared for wireless communication, because rather than only choosing one endpoint for Bluetooth or Zigbee or Wi-Fi, I thought of giving you a description of different wireless technologies, where, because if you are planning to develop any IoT applications or any sensors or any devices, you should always consider different scenarios, because every scenario will not work everywhere. So different scenarios can work in different locations, but one scenario cannot work everywhere. So this is where you have to choose integrated technologies when you are talking about IoTs or smart city verticals. So if you have any questions, you can go ahead with the questions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There is one question, sir. Hello?
Yeah, can you be a little louder, because I cannot hear you clearly.
Can we implement the LoRa network using free software in an academic institution?
Yeah, you can. See, LoRa is the open standard. LoRa is the open standard. There is nothing like free software or paid software. But the thing is, you need to have a gateway, you need to have a LoRa sensor, and you can build a platform. But the only thing you need to check is the interoperability of these sensors with your platform.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
And even one thing, you buy LoRa gateway from one supplier, LoRa sensor from another supplier, platform from another supplier. It's not a big issue. You just have to follow the standards, and integration needs to be done. Once the integration is done, then anything can run.
Yes, sir. No other questions, sir. We will wait for some time, sir. Participants are requested to post your questions in question and answers box. Participants are requested to post your questions in question and answers box.
Or even if you have any questions in the later stages, you can send to my email, then I will explain to you. Or you can send me WhatsApp, so I can clear these clarifications. Maybe at this point, you might not have any question. Maybe in future, if you have any questions, you can reach me anytime.
Sir, another question here, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Which software we use for implementation of LoRa network, MATLAB or Network Simulator?
See, there is nothing like a software for LoRa network. If you are developing the end module, for example, any sensor or anything, what kind of software you will be embedding on this module, that is first thing you need to consider. LoRa network will act as a medium to collect this data from this sensor and push to your platform. So it's not about MATLAB, or it's not about any dedicated software. So what kind of thing you are implementing on your end nodes, and what software you have to implement on that to collect certain data, that is a major thing that you need to consider. And then your application, what if the collected data is pushed through your network to your platform, then what this application does and how it projects the data, that you need to work on.
Thank you, sir. Another question, sir. Please give some light on Bluetooth and Wi-Fi coexistence.
You mean coexistence of Bluetooth and Wi-Fi?
The question is, sir, some light on Bluetooth and Wi-Fi coexistence between these two technologies.
And okay, so Wi-Fi, see, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and Zigbee, they work on same kind of frequencies like 2.4 gigahertz band. But however, the protocols they use is different and the standards they use is different, and running on same frequency and without creating any interference is the main, I mean, how to say, even if they are running on the same frequency, they don't create interference because the work scenario is different. The protocols they used is different. In the same way, in LoRa also, if multiple people are deploying LoRa based on 868 megahertz, then there will be no interference because the network, the technology itself has been designed in such a way. The transmit and receive channels are dedicated for whoever is deploying. So even for Bluetooth or Wi-Fi or Zigbee, the transmit receive channels are dedicated. They are not creating any interference. So even if you implement Bluetooth solution in a smart home application or Wi-Fi solution in smart home, Zigbee solution in smart home, everyone is carrying the same frequency, 2.4 megahertz, 2.4 gigahertz, then there will be no interference. You can deploy multiple sensors with one gateway. The only thing is you need to consider a unified gateway where it will connect to Zigbee, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth. So this gateway need to be equipped with modules of Wi-Fi, Zigbee, and Bluetooth. But in different scenarios, some scenario what they do is like they have gateway that only has a Bluetooth module. All the sensors inside home are Bluetooth. A gateway which is with Zigbee module, all the sensors in the home are with Zigbee module. A gateway with Wi-Fi module, all the sensors in home are with Wi-Fi. So considering multiple technologies, you should have a unified gateway. This is enough.
Yes, sir.
All these Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, Zigbee, they are following different standards, but same frequency.
Okay, sir. Another question, sir. What is the full form of PDT? What is the full form of PDT?
PDT. I forgot that name.
Another question, sir.
Sorry, actually, I did not check the PDT because PDT is not used anywhere much. Only Tetra is used, Hytera, DMR is used, then LT is used. So I only know about these three majorly.
Another question, sir. Are there any simulators to test protocols related to IoT?
Yeah, there are several simulators. Maybe I can share some list to you. List to anyone who can send me an email. I will share some simulators where you can test these protocols.
Thank you, sir. Another question. Whether Bluetooth and Wi-Fi use the same ISM band?
.4 gigahertz, right?
Yes, sir.
But different bands, different channels. I could say different channels, because even in 2.4 gigahertz, it is distributed to different channels. So some channels are dedicated for Bluetooth, some channels are dedicated to Wi-Fi.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And the channel spacing is also different for Bluetooth and Wi-Fi.
Yes, sir. Another question, sir. Is it possible to implement wireless sensor nodes with IoT?
Yes, wireless sensor nodes. Wireless sensor nodes, you have to see if it is public network or private network. It is public. If it is wireless sensor is with Wi-Fi or GSM, it will work as IoT. because Internet of Things, that is the definition. Internet of Things means Wi-Fi, GSM, anything is Internet of Things. But if you are talking about other sensors, Bluetooth, Zigbee, LoRa, these kind of sensors, if you have to choose with this kind of sensors, then you need to have a gateway that will collect the data from them, and this gateway need to be equipped with Wi-Fi or GSM. Then only it will become as IoT solution. So it's not necessary that the sensors should also have IoT capabilities, and the gateway should have IoT capabilities. But even if the gateway has IoT capabilities, then it can reach to hundreds of sensors, and it is also called IoT solution.
Thank you, sir. Sir, some of the participants are asking about your presentation PPTs, sir.
Okay. I will share it with Sulakshana, or I will share it with the email which I received for this event. Okay.
And another question, sir.
Yeah.
How gateway differentiated from a router?
Gateway?
Differentiated from a router.
Router. Okay. So router can be considered in a different way, where a router have a Wi-Fi enability, router have cable connectivity, cable connectivity enability. So these routers, like for example, inside your home, you have fiber optics connection, right? So this is also one of the router. So this router will provide you Wi-Fi coverage. So in home, if you have Wi-Fi sensors, so these Wi-Fi sensors can be connected to these Wi-Fi router, and you can have these IoT applications, and you can manage, monitor, control your sensors. But however, for the gateway definition itself is to bring in non-Wi-Fi, non-LTE or telecom sensors connecting to this gateway to enable the whole scenario to IoT. So the gateway functioning is to connect Bluetooth, Zigbee, or PLC, or any kind of other non-Wi-Fi technologies. And even it can connect to Wi-Fi technologies, depending on different gateway to gateway. So even LoRa gateway can act as a gateway, because LoRa gateways are also equipped with Wi-Fi or SIM cards. So whenever these LoRa gateways are connecting to other LoRa sensors, they are collecting data and they are pushing the data to the central location. Even home gateways can do the same. But routers can only work for Wi-Fi sensors. But gateway can work for Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, Zigbee, and any other multiple sensors.
Thank you, sir. Here is another question. What are the softwares for research in wireless networks?
Software for research?
Yes.
There is no specific software for research in wireless, because wireless, depending on what kind of wireless you are talking about. Are you talking about antenna design? Are you talking about the wireless technology topologies? It depends, because mostly wireless technology is enabled through antenna infrastructure. So if you are talking about antenna infrastructure, there are some dedicated softwares like Ansoft, IE3D, and also MATLAB can also do some small scale beaming. These are the only softwares. But if you are talking in a commercial scale, I'm not sure, because this is something secret from the vendor side. So they never reveal what kind of software they are using to develop their antenna designs. But however, in a research level, we used to use IE3D and Ansoft before.
Yes, sir. Another question, sir. Can you repeat fixed wireless communications?
Fixed wireless, huh?
Yes, sir.
One second. Can you see the slide?
Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Okay, fixed wireless, this one. So this one is mostly used in cases where there is no fiber network. So this is something like if someone cannot deploy a fiber network, then they can go with fixed wireless. So how they have to do is they have to reach to one point with fiber, and this one point will be connecting to one fixed wireless access point, and then it will connect to another fixed wireless access point wherever we want. And from there, it can be distributed to several homes or several factories or several enterprise buildings. This is alternative solution for fiber optics. In some countries, they cannot deploy fiber cable in around the canal or on the mountains, so they go with fixed wireless.
Thank you, sir. Another question, sir. How Bluetooth is different from Zigbee and its prime usage of Zigbee?
Bluetooth is mostly used for short range applications. Bluetooth is widely used in short range applications, and also the bandwidth capacity for Bluetooth is very lower than compared to Zigbee when we are talking about long distance, because for Bluetooth you have to feed it with high power to enhance the coverage, but for Zigbee you don't need to feed it with high power. And even in Bluetooth, you can only use certain kind of applications, but in Zigbee you can use for indoor applications and as well as outdoor applications. So Zigbee has successful cases with smart street lighting, smart waste management, and smart park management with some sensors. But Bluetooth is not having any cases for outdoor scenarios in these kind of vertical applications.
Thank you, sir. Another question, sir. He is asking about the security